All right, let's go. Good morning. Welcome back to the pod.
Good morning, good morning.
Episode 3 of season 2.
That's right.
For all you guys are new, we are uploading on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and recently on X.
Recently on X. Yes, we had our first episode of season 2 and second episode of season 2 go on X, which has received a pretty good feedback.
Yeah, we are getting a lot of views and probably more views and interaction and shares on X than we are on all the platforms now.
Which is interesting because the kind of the home base for the Matt Kim podcast initially was Instagram.
Correct. And then YouTube, and YouTube is doing great.
Yes.
We are growing there every day. And I like the comment section on YouTube better because people leave better comments.
They seem to be, interestingly enough, they seem to be a little bit more thoughtful.
Correct. And Spotify, you can't really interact in the comment section. It's just not built that way. So that's my only knock. I feel like they need to build out their engagement area on the podcast because like I want to hear what people have to say. And there's like a question and answer thing where, what'd you think about the podcast? But no one ever does it on Spotify.
Spotify really is just a pay for function. It's not there's no incentive to do anything social there.
So if you're new to the show, I'm Matt Kim, Peter Saddington. Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
So, bro.
I feel like I already want to take some credit.
Bro, can I tell you how crazy the last 2 days have been?
Please tell me.
Oh,
This guy is bro, all the way back. Head all the way back.
you remember when Trump retruth and pinned my video?
Oh, man. Can we just sit on that? That was an amazing experience. Just having the top eagle tweet, retruth you and pin it to the top. How many followers do you have? 17 million?
I have no idea. All I know is that was crazy. But in my book, something even crazier happened.
Even crazier. So let's give context. We did an episode months ago, maybe not even that far ago, but just to say months ago, where we discussed the people on the internet, out in the real world, that have encouraged you and inspired you to build podcasts like this. So
Correct.
we had Donald Trump, top eagle. We had Andrew Tate. We had Tucker Carlson, right? And was the other one Joe Rogan?
Correct.
Okay, so I got all 4. And so we've already been retruthed by Donald Trump. Tate you are a known entity to Andrew Tate. He follows you and he was watching your stuff. We have Joe Rogan and we have Tucker left. Is it one of those guys?
So you messaged me on our Discord.
I did.
And you said, guess who started following you on Twitter?
That's right.
And it was one of the producers and booking managers for Tucker Carlson.
Dude, please don't tell me what you're about to tell me, please.
It's not as crazy, but it's still crazy.
It's okay. Okay.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, who is she? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to message her because why not?
Why not? Asking is always free.
And I left the biggest fanboy message ever. I said, there's a list of 4 people that I really want to get the attention of and be noticed by. And I would love an opportunity. And of that list, very short list, one of them is Tucker Carlson. The reason why I do a lot of what I do is because I watched him evolve during COVID. He went from a news media guy to a guy that just questions everything. Right. And his evolution inspired me to make my evolution. And I left a message just like that. More like a high, more like a fanboy.
That's one of those ones where you pretty much expect it to be either unread or left on read, right?
Correct. Maybe a thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah, like we get a lot of these. We get a lot of you guys.
And she messaged me back and she's like, well, I have good news for you then. Because Tucker is actually the one that sent me your podcast and told us that we should keep an eye on you.
Oh, bro, we're on the radar. So that means that Tucker Carlson and the producers and the directors and all of his peripheral entities that help support the Tucker Carlson new evolution, you guys are watching. What's up, guys? What's up? This is the Matt Kim podcast. Ain't nobody making no money here. The talent is right in front of you. It's Matt Kim doing this out of passion. Tucker, you have inspired this man to do something, and we are receiving amazing feedback. And if I could go even farther, Tucker, because I know that you're watching, I feel like we're almost even changing lives. Maybe not ridiculously, but we are opening up the minds and helping people become better free thinkers. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
We are just having the conversations to encourage others to have the conversation. And I feel like people watch us and see us talk about issues, sometimes issues that may be a little sticky, sometimes issues that may be a little controversial, and have a logical, rational, normal discussion about these issues. People are like, maybe I should do that too. And
did you respond?
Of course.
What'd you say?
I said, what the fuck? And I put a bunch of question marks, exclamation points, all this shit.
Bro, you went, that's like going out of fanboy mode, bro. You went into like stalker mode.
And I started rambling, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm blabbering. And I'm like, oh my God, I just said about blabbering.
Oh, bro, total loss of composure here, guys.
Totally lost it.
Totally human.
Totally lost
Matt's
it.
totally human. It's okay. Here's the question I would ask, Matt, is what must I do to get past the threshold that will allow me to pierce the veil and get into Tucker Carlson's world? Like, we need millions of views. We already got that. We got tens of millions of views. What else do we need to do?
I don't know if I want to intentionally do anything. I think we just do what we're doing, which is try to do the best we can with the opportunity that we have. And if there's an opportunity, know that there's an opportunity for an opportunity, and I'm okay with that.
So what you're essentially saying is keep on executing, stay the straight and narrow, stay the path, and thou shalt be rewarded is what you're saying.
I agree. I don't think we pivot just because we want the attention of someone new.
But you can still DM Matt and let him know what the threshold is. You can tell him, hey, these are the requirements for awesome sauce, and we will make it happen.
So I thought that was crazy, and I told my wife, and I ran into the room, and I don't fanboy often.
But there's 4 guys you'll fanboy over, though, for sure.
And I don't know. The
it.
reaction to this was just different because my wife knows that from 2019 until 2023, for pretty much 4 years of my life, I watched Tucker almost every night. If I watched any news or anyone that does any sort of political commentary, he was the one that I typically didn't miss. And my wife knows that. And I would sit there and repeat some of his catchphrases while I'm watching TV. And she would repeat it too because she's so used to him at this point. So if my wife, who is apolitical, watches anyone, she's also watching Tucker because I watch Tucker. She doesn't watch anybody else.
There you go.
Only time she'll ever sit down next to me and watch the news is when he's on. So I ran to her and I said, hey, guess what happened? And I told her a story. And she goes, and ever since that moment, she calls me, she messages me, hi, Tucker's friend.
He's part of the crew now, guys. Hi, hey, Tucker's friend. Until it becomes a reality, I can't wait. And this is me maybe positive thinking here, maybe manifesting the future, manifesting reality. I can't wait to see a picture with you and Tucker shaking hands side by side. Come on, this is a within the entire spectrum of reality, totally a possibility.
And what I told his team was, I don't care if I ever have an opportunity to meet him, or sit down with him, or just talk to him and just pick his brain or ask him questions. It doesn't even have to be public. I don't want to like, hey, look, I'm with Tucker so that, hey, look, I'm going to try to use a cloud. I don't feel like I want that or need that or like that's not what I'm chasing. But he is interesting to me because he is one of the guys in the world that is online that even the world leaders listen to.
Yes.
If anything, he may be the most influential voice in the entire world.
In the political space, I would categorize it, right?
But even CEOs of large corporations, anyone that works in a global space that consumes that needs to know about what's going on in the world, they will at least reference him.
You know, I'm thinking hard about this, and I'm feeling like it's going to be hard to disagree with you on this, because even Elon, who I was thinking categorically in my head is more technology focused and less policy and politics focused, but even Elon retweets him, even Elon supports him, thereby Elon clearly listens to the man.
Correct.
So what you're saying is Tucker Carlson spans all markets, essentially.
And I think you'd be hard pressed to make a case against that. I think I would be in agreement. Yeah, he probably is certainly one of the most influential in the world right now, for sure.
Because he is not a politician, so he's not trying to lead governments. He is not a businessman. I mean, in his own right, but he's not a business leader.
Yeah, he's not building products.
Exactly. So for him to just be a guy who gathers his own thoughts, puts it out into the world, and the world listens, I respect that.
Yeah, and the mainstream media, the legacy media would probably call him a YouTuber these days, right? Because they like to denigrate.
Well, do you call him an Xer now?
Maybe. I guess he's mostly just doing it on X. But I had something pop in my gut here, Matt, and I just have to ask the question. Because, I mean, it's really amazing in such a short amount of time that you have four amazing individuals that are out there in the world that have created content and are impacting the world. And you have this bucket list, essentially, and we're kind of knocking them out one by one, which in such a short amount of time. I mean, let's be honest. It's pretty crazy. But so I have to ask the question. Sit down with Tucker Carlson. What would be some of your first questions you would ask him?
I think I want to know, like, how do you balance the pressure of having to say the right thing, not to stir up the pot too much, versus getting your point across on how to be logical and fair and rational at the same time, have your own personal bias. How do you balance that? Because he must know, because he grew up in that area, in that industry, in the swamp. He grew up around media. He knows on a personal level more than others.
Oh, for sure.
If he wanted to go out there and just blow everyone's spot up, he probably could.
Oh, he got dirt on a lot of people, I bet.
But he uses such restraint and discipline to just be able to give out information at the same time, interject just enough of his opinion. How do you balance that? Because sometimes if I knew some of the things he would know, I feel like I wouldn't be able to control myself. Like, guess what I heard?
Yeah. I mean, and it might be circumstantial. It might it might be some holes missing, but you'd know enough to be like, bro, guys, we should talk about this. And so, yes, I think you're absolutely correct that Tucker Carlson is revealing and showing to us through his 12, 14, 20-minute monologues, essentially, really great restraint because he probably has tons of dirt on so many politicians. He's rubbed shoulders with these guys for decades, right? So that would be one of your first questions. How do you balance it? What would be another question that you would ask Tucker? Because he's clearly a family man. He has, interestingly, I think, valuable and conservative principles that he guides his life by and his family by. I'm curious as to whether you'd ask him any questions around family or faith or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I'm curious to know how to balance being in that public eye, being on any given day. He can piss off the wrong person and things can go south for him fast. He's just in that place right now. And maybe his profile is too big. Maybe that's why it hasn't happened. But he'll say things like, we all know Epstein didn't kill himself.
I mean, yeah.
And for most people who are in that category of person to say that loudly, they tend not to do it because they don't want to.
They don't want to ruffle feathers, even though it's like it's such a truth, though.
But he will say it. He'll say things like the war in Ukraine, absolutely bullshit, has to stop. Everyone that's on the politics side, they try to be really coy with that idea. And someone like us, who's considered small content creators, we say it all the time. But to have that level of eyes and attention and balance it with a family, how do you even know to do that? How do you balance and how do you restrain yourself? I think it's really about restraint for me. Because so many times we run into topics and I just want to just blow it up.
Yeah.
And my context is nothing compared to his. So if I knew what he knew, bro, how do you do that?
Well, what do you if you were to sit down with Tucker, what do you think would be the major content area that you guys would discuss? What do you think would be the major thing that you guys would find the most to discuss, unpack, and maybe even reveal a little bit about who you guys are?
I think I'm less interested in issues. I think I'm more, anytime we talk about anything, I'm less interested in the actual issue and I'm more interested in the person. With all the eyes, with everyone watching, knowing that there is a social responsibility to the people that listen to you, knowing that so many people develop their own ideas and opinions based on your opinion, that's a huge responsibility. How do you balance that? Because I think it now. You know, sometimes I make a video and it'll be a million views. A million views is crazy.
Yeah.
And someone left a comment to me the other day. He said, you should be more careful because people are deciding what they think based on what you think. And in my mind, I always thought my goal was never to tell people how to think.
Yeah,
I think we started that episode 1. We
Yeah.
said, I don't want people to believe what I believe.
Yeah.
Believe what you want. Think
Yeah.
for yourself.
We're just two guys talking about the issues.
But as eyes grow and the numbers grow, all of a sudden, the craziness about the world is that if you have big numbers, all of a sudden you gain authority.
That's a good point.
And I never expected or knew that what I say would have authority.
Do you feel like you have authority? And as you're thinking about that, if I can interject maybe some anchor bias here, I would say that you don't act like you have authority. You don't behave. You don't have. This hasn't blown up your ego. You're still the same Matt today that you were, 6-7 years ago when I first met you, right? So I don't see that change, and so I think that's to your credit. So I'm curious as to your thoughts. Do you feel like you have this extra weight of authority on your shoulders? Does that constrain your ability to communicate effectively? I'm curious.
I don't feel authority. I feel responsibility.
They're kind of the same. They're almost cut from the same piece of cloth, though, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of perception and how you view it and how I view it. I don't feel like I ever say anything trying to convince anyone otherwise. This is just how I think. This is how I perceive the world. This is based on my research, and you are more than welcome to do your own research and come up with your own ideas. And that would make sense if people all were to do their own research and come up with their own ideas.
Yeah, and that little snippet of what you just said is what 99% of people don't hear. They just hear, this is what Matt said, right? They don't hear the
Exactly.
preamble, which is, guys, this is just one man, some anecdotes, some ideas, some news clips. There's some patterns that are emerged that are a little odd, right? There's some circumstantial evidence that makes it a little bit funny and a little bit awkward, right? I'm just pointing out the facts here. But they don't ever hear that preamble. They just hear, this is what Matt said. So, he has authority on it, right? He has a direct opinion on it, and maybe I should think that way. I think that's what happens when you have those numbers, right?
Yeah, and people, if sometimes they hear something they don't like, they're like, oh, you media people or you journalists or you whatever, and they try to label me as something. You guys should do more research, or you should have asked more, or you should have done this, or you should have done this, or you should have. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's literally me with a laptop and an internet connection making videos like by myself. Like, what do you want me to do? You must think I have like this crazy team of researchers behind me that have fact checkers and agents and reps. And the reality is it's me. Will's back here helping out from time to time. You come in to film with me once a week. And this is literally everything. But because they see big numbers, they're like, oh, you guys should do better. And then I think, do you know what? Maybe I should.
Ooh.
Maybe it is my responsibility. I didn't ask for 1 million people to watch me. I think it's like 1 million people a day at this point that are watching.
No,
Between
easily.
between Instagram, Twitter, reshares, retweets, reposts, TikTok, whatever. I'm gonna say like 1 million views a day.
Easily. I spend a lot of time on TikTok because we have a huge account there and trying to focus on go-karting and racing and all that stuff. But your shit pops up all the bloody time. And usually when I see it, it's at 639,000 views.
And it's never on my account.
It's never on your account.
Never on my account.
I always see it, bro. Like TikTok, I think you're probably doing far better than both of us imagine on TikTok.
And there's no way for me to track the metric.
No way. Be nice to be able to know.
Total guess is that doing about 1 million views per day every single day now.
Easily.
I never asked for 1 million people to watch us. Never in a million years did I think 1 million people would watch us. The idea of that is just crazy.
It is crazy.
It's super humbling. And when people say you should know better, and my response is, how am I supposed to know better? It's just me. And I'm like, maybe I should.
It's an interesting response to overtly negative commentary. They're saying they're creating assumptions and assertions around you, and whether they think you have a large team or whether you don't have a large team doesn't even matter. They're telling you essentially that you need to do a better job, and your response is maybe I should. I'm curious, what would be doing a better job look like in Matt Kim's mind's eye?
Maybe be more thorough in my research. Maybe
Guys,
be more
please.
fair.
Like this guy
in my
actually
analysis.
spends time. Let's give you a little bit of credit where credit is due. The guys who are commenting and telling you to do research, I bet 9 out of 10 times have done significantly less research than you. So I find that to be somewhat comical to receive those types of comments, and I read as much as I can. You do a lot of research, but at the end of the day, no one truly has the full story, and so there's going to be conjecture. There's going to be ideas brought up. There's going to be circumstantial evidence. There's going to be color commentary that you bring up. So I'm curious as to how you see yourself doing better than what you're already doing, unless you're going to start spending money and buying a team of researchers behind you, some business analysts or something.
I don't know. I don't even if I wanted to spend money, I don't even know where to deploy it.
I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah, where would we put that money?
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And getting this far, didn't even know I could get this far. So
Fair enough.
So the idea that we can go further, I feel like I'm just literally walking blind. And somehow I just keep on running into like big people along the way. I don't even know how that's happening. It's
working
so
out.
crazy.
It's working out. So like, and I hope for those of you guys who are just listening to us to Spotify or some of the podcasts, and you're not seeing the YouTube, if you are watching the YouTube, you can see the incremental progress, the incremental growth of the studio around us. Our sound's getting better, our lighting's getting better, our video's getting better. So we're incrementally improving in all ways. But when it comes to do a better job, that's such a nebulous idea. So you're not wrong. Like, where do we put money? Where do we put focus? Right now, what we're doing right now is working pretty well.
I mean, I think it's because our focus is so split. You have a lot of stuff going on in your life. I have my family. We still got our day business to do. Will is helping the best he can, but he's also picking up majority of the business side of it. So we're spread super thin.
Everyone's wearing multiple hats, right?
And to know, and that makes sense if our audience was 2,000 people, 100 people. Wing it. Our audience is 1 million people a day.
Easily.
I feel like we're at a point where we just can't wing it anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I'm smelling what you're selling. I'm tracking with you 100%, Matt. You guys are a bunch of nerds, man. Maybe I'm the nerd by saying that shit. Is that an outdated? Is that an outdated colloquialism?
I love the word nerd. I don't know why.
I love being a nerd. I was a nerd. Anyway, where was I going with it? I don't even know where I was going with this.
You can smell where it's tracking.
I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking with you. But at the same time, in humility and in practicality, I can say we are incrementally, improving. We're, like I just said, the video's getting better, sound's getting better, studio's getting better. You're getting better guests in. Not to say that the other guests weren't better. It's just we are finding our juju. We're finding our groove, right? We're getting into it, and we are incrementally improving. I think what you might be thinking about is what haven't I thought of that I haven't thought of yet that we need to put money or focus towards. I think the answer is we will just have to experiment, number one, and number two, allow for the emergence to happen.
I think that's really what I want to know from Tucker. From my understanding, he runs a really lean team.
He does.
Compared to some of these other podcasters who have teams of 50, 100 people working on one show, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Right? That you do 5 million views a day and you have 100 people.
Have you ever watched Linus Tech Tips? Have you ever watched
Old
that
school.
guy? Old school. He's like 15 million viewers. He focuses on PC gaming and PC hardware stuff. His team is like 150 people.
That's crazy.
150 people.
How do you even keep all those people busy?
I literally heard this a week and a half ago when someone was talking about some sort of not conspiracy, but some tension that was happening within the company because they're no longer a small company anymore. They're like 150 large. And when I heard that on the podcast, I was like, 150 people? Like they're pumping 26 videos a week.
Get it.
But still 150 people, bro. I don't know if let me ask you the question. Would you ever want to manage a media company of 150 people?
No, I don't think that's ever been my goal.
Yeah.
the idea of maybe going under a network of people that have those resources that we can offload a lot of the stuff to would be interesting.
If you get acquired, or if you get acquired into a machine.
But would keeping absolute keeping being able to do what you want. What's the word I'm looking for? Autonomy.
That's why I'm here, guys.
Thank you.
Nerd.
So you've had commenters telling you to do better. Let's kind of segue into some videos that you've posted recently about one of the presidential candidates, which, as I was scrolling through the comments, there were comments that were telling you, hey, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you're adding too much of your own personality into this. It seems like you're too opinionated or too biased, or Matt, it's like you're moving off color. You're moving off script because, Matt, we thought you were supposed to be objective and thinking about this rationally and logically. It seems like you're a little bit more emotional. Now, when I was reading those comments about this content, which we'll describe in just a second, I was thinking two things, Matt. I was thinking either you're stretching the boundaries of your narrative, which is, let's be a little bit more emotional, or maybe not emotional, but a little bit more flowery in language and a little bit more inciting, because there are some exciting things about what's happening with this presidential candidate, and there's some odd things that are happening. And so that was my first thought. My second thought is, why can't Matt get more emotionally involved? Why can't Matt show more of the spectrum of his personality when he's talking about this presidential candidate? And so I think this is a good segue, because you're creating this content, you're getting new feedback that you haven't received before, and I'm curious as to your thoughts when you created this content around this presidential candidate. Did you have any intentions in mind for that narrative?
So we're referencing a video clip that I made about Vivek Ramaswamy last week.
Yep, which got massive playtime all over the place. Crazy. Actually, I think that was partially the thing that helped connect us to Tucker.
Who knows? I have no idea when they started following.
Fair enough.
No idea.
Fair enough.
So I actually did reach out to him maybe about a week ago, maybe a little bit more than.
He's doing a tour, man. He probably should sit in this seat.
So I said, hey, love what you're doing. If you're ever in Georgia, this is what I do, etc. I'd love to have you on. Can we connect?
Innocuous enough.
And I didn't reply, nothing. I didn't expect a huge reply anyway. But just in case, because I saw him doing his tour, I want to throw my head in there. Because when I watched a few clips of him, I was like, I feel like these guys are just not asking the questions I would want to know. They're all questions to set him up to give political talking points, which I hate doing. But everyone's doing it. And he did tour even on Tucker. He did the tour on PBD. He was on every single major podcast. And he says all the things that you want to hear. All of it seems very rehearsed, very thought out. He's obviously extremely smart guy.
Yes.
But nobody was asking the questions in a way that I thought I would want to ask them.
What do you mean when you say the questions that you would want to ask him? Is it that they're not asking supplementary questions and going deeper?
It's that
or are they too high level?
They're asking questions as a lob layup for him to slam.
So the easy questions for him to pull out of his back pocket and say, scripted answer, insert here.
I'm ready for this. Give me the question.
Understood.
And anytime when he's challenged with a question that maybe he's not ready for, you can see him hesitate. So I'm like,
He's off his mojo, yeah.
He's extremely smart, extremely well-versed. He knows exactly what his points are. And because his brain moves at a faster rate than the people that are interviewing him, he's able to and push it through.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. I just didn't feel the genuinity. And being a young candidate that is saying what everyone wants to hear, that seems to be picking up this following on the internet. And if I said some of the things that he says, like there are only two genders, and you scream that out loud, YouTube would probably shadow ban me, and TikTok would be like, oh, you're out.
Yeah, TikTok for sure.
Correct. But somehow he's able to say these things, and TikTok is just showing it over and over and over again.
Yes.
And I was like, that's so weird to me. Why are the social media platforms pushing him.
Mm.
Probably he's paying to be pushed.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're all paying to be pushed for sure.
Of course, because he went from nobody to super well known.
Oh, bro.
So I just got curious about this guy.
Yeah.
So I just started doing some internet research, just Googling around, looking, and I didn't have to dig too deep to find his name associated with all these shady characters that we inherently distrust.
Yes.
It's not one thing. It's a combination of so many things.
There's a pattern there, right?
Pattern.
Right.
One or two is coincidence. Multiple is a trend. All the time is a pattern.
Yeah. I mean,
Beware of patterns.
yeah. And he definitely is, if I were to characterize him, I'd say he's very well scripted. Not just, he is ridiculously smart. No doubt. Like, you couldn't have achieved what he's been able to achieve in the business world, in the investment world, if he wasn't smart. But he is extremely well scripted. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I first thought of when I heard him talking is he sounded a lot like Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, man, Obama was a sweet, smooth talking motherfucker. He was so good at it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were moments when I completely disagreed with his policies, completely disagreed with the entirety of the narrative that I had just listened to him. But man, damn, did he present it and communicate it in a smooth, silky way in which even my emotional countenance was just like, oh, damn, that was pretty well said, man.
Yeah.
So, and Vivek has very similar patterns, right? He's connected to big entities like BlackRock,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's got pharmaceutical backing, which is, let's be honest, have you seen the recent data that pharmaceutical companies, I think, have either 75 or 80% of all the ad revenue into TV? Did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Will, please look that up. I'd love to make sure that this is a truthful thing that I'm saying. Look up pharmaceutical companies do 80%, something like that, and you'll find something about that, which tells us if you're watching a TV program like in legacy media, that has been sponsored 80% or 70, 80% by Big Pharma. Like, that's a big problem in and of itself, right? Because it tells you who their masters are and who they're serving. And so it makes you wonder. There's no facts here, but it makes you wonder if his similar connections with Big Pharma, BlackRock, et cetera, big banking financiers, et cetera, if there's, let's just say, an undercurrent there that we might not know about. And that, I think, is worth unpacking.
The narrative that he states, that people around him state, is that he is a normal American. Success story. Immigrant parents that came here with nothing, that built his money by himself. This is what we're told, and this is what he leans into, and he tries to project. Simple search. And he went to one of the most prestigious high schools in Ohio. His father is a lawyer. His mom is a doctor. He had he was living off his dividends, off of stocks in college. Not poor. He went to Harvard. He went to Yale. He got a scholarship from the Soros. And I get it. It's Paul Soros, not George Soros. I don't give a fuck. It's the same shit. All right? You can try to split it all you want. It's the same family. If you're like, oh, I like one but not the other, you don't know that. You don't even know the two. What are you saying? It's the family. I don't trust them.
And the son actually has been quoted as saying that he's going to be even more extreme than his father. And he's going to be even more liberal than his father, which tells us the policies he cares about.
The whole family is just, I don't want anything to do with them. And then you mix in the fact that he's mixed up with the World Economic Forum. And I get he sued him, whatever, blah, I don't care. Their names are attached. If you Google me, you will never see my name attached to World Economic Forum. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to normal people.
Nope.
It only happens to a select few. And you can deny it all you want. You're linked.
Let me ask you just a quick question. If I was connected to the WEF, would you be my friend?
I'd like to know how.
I'd like to figure out how to do that. So maybe we can get some money in it because apparently they have deep pockets.
And then you couple that with making your money in the pharma world. You don't make a lot of money in pharma by being a good guy. You don't make a lot of money in hedge fund world by being a good guy. the two just don't mesh at all.
They
if
don't.
anyone tells you,
don't.
I try to be a honorable, logical, fair person, I made my money in pharma and finance, you're full of shit. It's impossible.
No, I will. As someone who is a venture capitalist, in talking with bankers and New York bankers and money managers and financiers and other VCs all the time, I will tell you the only way to make money and be successful in that world of money is you have to be a shark. You have to be a shark. You can't. Nice guys finish last, number one. Nice guys end up broke, number two. I mean,
You have to be flexible in your morals. You have to be flexible in your decision making. You have to be an expert in operating in the gray. And most likely, you have to be willing to tip your toes on the wrong side.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
these are things we know for sure. And then on top of that, you're also linked with companies like Pfizer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one thing. It's a combination of all of it as a big picture.
It's a pattern.
If you take the picture of what's being sold, is that I'm just a guy from Ohio with family and, we work really hard and I built my money. That's what they're selling.
Right.
But if you just strip that away and you look at the big picture, he's associated with everyone that we preach are bad.
Mm.
And then people are like, no, but this guy's different. Really? Really? Why?
Because he's Vivek, man.
Like what? And like, it's because you didn't hear his podcast. This guy went to Harvard. He went to Yale. And if the premise is that they got to him early, he's been prepping for this moment for the last 20 years of his life. He can't do a fucking podcast. Use your brain.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Especially if they got to him early, because it has been well documented that some of our current world leaders and many world leaders of the past were literally groomed from childhood for this role, right? And there are, let's just say, conspiracies out there that Mr. Barack Hussein Obama, likewise, because we brought that up earlier, it's contextually relevant, was likewise groomed the entire way up. So, I mean, there are plans in place. There are machinations in place. There are people with agendas in place that are far more disciplined to stay on course, regardless of microeconomic activities, regardless of the political atmosphere, regardless of who's in the top dog seat. There are strategists. There are people who are saying, this guy, he's 6 years old now, but in 26 years old, he's going to be our plant. People play the long game. What's this?
Pharma TV advertising remain the corner spending with 5.
There you go, right there. There you go. 75%.
75%.
So whenever you watch legacy media, guys, be awake. 75% of all the funding towards those programs is from Big Pharma. What else do you need to know?
And
What
it's
else
so
do you need to
disgusting.
know?
I don't know why we allow it in this country.
We're us and
New Zealand.
Switzerland. Or is it Switzerland or New
I think
Zealand?
New Zealand.
Okay, it's one of those European countries. I think us and one of those European countries, whether it's New Zealand or Switzerland, are the only countries in the planet that are legally able to propagandize us and sell us drugs on TV.
And now they're sending this smart Harvard, Yale, VC guy to say, oh, I hate Big Pharma. And they're just rolling him out there. And everyone's supposed to be like, oh, yeah, he's coming to save us. Like, seriously?
To be honest, everything that we've just talked about so far, I'll say that the strongest argument for the oddity of his content being proliferated so heavily is TikTok. Like I said, I spend more time on TikTok than I'd like to admit. I see the patterns. He should have been banned off TikTok months ago.
I get videos deleted from TikTok all the time. People are like, how come you're not on TikTok? How come you don't upload on TikTok? I don't upload on TikTok because they constantly delete my videos.
Yeah.
And my videos are nothing in comparison to what he's saying.
He should have been banned off TikTok months ago.
Why are they banning my videos?
Because
Maybe
you're
that's
nobody.
why I'm so mad. Maybe that's why I'm so mad.
That's because you
I just want TikTok, bro.
You don't
Can
have
I just
big,
TikTok?
you don't have Big Pharma greasing your titties, bro. Big Pharma got a
I just want a TikTok, man. That's it.
You can't TikTok.
No, I can't TikTok.
You can't.
They won't let me TikTok.
They won't. But they'll let Vivek, because I keep seeing his shit pop up.
And that's the weirdest part to me. And they're like, and I said something like, they're pushing him, they're supporting him.
They are pushing him.
And people are like, no, they're not. They're against him. No, he told you they're against him. But if you use your eyes and use your logic and you look at the world and look at the patterns, they're going after a guy like Trump. compare the headlines of anti-Trump headlines and compare the headlines for anti-Vivek headlines
And RFK.
and RFK.
Oh, RFK.
He's one to go
yeah,
after.
let's not forget about him.
They are nothing similar. Like, oh, they're going after Vivek like they're going after RFK. No, they're
No,
not.
they're not.
Not
No, they're not.
even close. And anyone that believe and when I say these things, the Ramaswamy gets so riled up. I've been flooded with Ramaswamy bots. Flooded. My
you sure
DMs
they're bots?
and my because some of them say the same
Oh,
comment.
yeah.
Some of them leave the same comment on Instagram as they do on Twitter. So they're bots.
There's no ingenuity there.
And I'm like, their campaign team is hiring bots to change a narrative just like the Bidens do.
Are you sure it's not? It's not Russian bots? Because I mean, that's like, isn't that our mortal enemy these days?
The Russian bots want to cancel me. All right.
You're so well known, Matt. You should be happy with this. The cancellation is real.
But it's really the similar feel as the bot. Because if I put up a pro-Trump tweet or video or a pro or anti-Biden video, I get the really similar type of bots that leave very similar comments. And usually the feel of the profile is similar. I get those same guys come in with the Ramaswamy. They don't come in for other social issues. They don't come in for other political stuff. It's the ones that you hire to do your botting.
That's interesting.
And I'm like, damn, he's using the same bot company as Biden. I don't know if I like that.
Well, if it's effective, if it's strategically effective, and it's the unit economics are good, then you couldn't blame him. He's playing a politician's game, man.
I thought that bots were going to be, I thought bots that leave comments and say things in order to change the political narrative, I thought we were getting rid of that. That's what we were told was going to happen.
You were sold a bill of goods, my friend.
And maybe in a regular account, you don't see it as much. When I get thousands of messages a day, I can notice the pattern of bots.
But see, that right? What you just stated is the largest argument for most people that say that bots truly aren't an issue. And the reason is because nobody's that big. 99% of people on social are not big, so they'll never see bots. It's only when you blow up, like you have as of recent, where you get to see the absolute terror that these bots are, because you're a high-profile account now, right? You're talking about stuff that matters, right? You have millions of people that are watching your stuff. You have millions of aggregate views all over the place. So bots, when people say the bot problem has gone away, it's because the vast majority of people are never really infected by them. It's only the ones who have social presences that are relatively large and are speaking into a particular demographic or a topic that is bot-worthy. So you are definitely going to be targeted by these bots, but the normal person isn't.
Or are they? And that the comment, say if you get 10 comments on a video, and one is a bot trying to change the way you think, because it costs them nothing to do it. If it's a CIA, FBI, it's a political campaign, these bots, for them, are nothing. If you get 10 comments and one is something that's trying to change how you view or how the audience views, they actually have more impact as a percentage.
I see what you're saying.
But if you have 10 comments and one is a bot comment, maybe disagrees, you end up engaging with them, which only adds eyes to the comments. So maybe, and sometimes if you don't get a lot of comments and you get one, and even though it's a bot, you kind of want it there. I want the engagement.
So actually, you're not salty about the bots.
So I mean, it's so weird, right? I appreciate trolls, the guys that come in and leave negative comments every single day, but I know they're really watching, and every once in a while they learn something. And even though they come just to troll, I know they're real.
So what do you say to the commenters on this Vivek videos that you've pushed out that are saying that you're moving into territory that you shouldn't, or that you're adding more color commentary or personal bias or personal opinion to do? What do you say to those people? Are you allowed, Matt Kim, the latitude to express your personality and reveal a greater spectrum of your humanity, or are you not allowed to do that anymore?
I think people think that my video about Vivek was about Vivek. It was not. Yes, I call out some obscurities. I call out some things that make you go, But he has no chance of winning presidency anyway. Really, I think they're propping him up. They're letting him go, getting conservatives to, fall into the Vivek train so that they can bring all this out later, crush him publicly, and see, you guys are idiots, and humiliate everyone.
Really?
I think that's what they're doing.
Really? I thought your narrative was going to go in a different direction.
I think they are propping him up to humiliate everyone that followed him.
Really?
There is so much dirt on this guy that there is no way he makes it past an actual election. Impossible.
Really?
There's too much dirt, too many shady connections.
Wow.
But they hide it all now. They prop him up, get people excited, and then crush
Then
everyone.
rug pull.
Pull on everyone. Be like, look,
Really?
you Republicans, stupid.
Man,
you guys fall for this? What, you guys don't know anything?
I'm clearly not as sophisticated as you, Matt. I thought you were gonna take your commentary in the direction of there's no way he's gonna win the presidency. Trump has that.
Of course.
He's got it in the sack. How he actually gets it done is going to be an intriguing problem to solve. I think over the next year and a half. Where I thought you were going to take it was that they're trying to prepare Vivek for VP status. You don't think that's there's any truth to that potential?
If they do, it's to rug pull him publicly later.
Really? Wow.
If you are BlackRock,
I feel ignorant, man.
if you are BlackRock, if you're Pfizer, if you are this old establishment group, you're not putting all your eggs around this young, brash, arrogant kid. You're not. That's not how they operate. You use those kids. And this guy's willing to say everything and be brash and be colorful. They're like, yeah, hell yeah, we support you. We do it. Just knowing that at any given moment, take it all away. That's how they work. That's how they operate. They've always done things that way.
It's true.
And for this kid to think, oh yeah, I'm going to be president because they believe in me. You're so arrogant, bro.
It's also naive.
You have no idea how the world works. And the fact that if you're complicit to it, you're a bad person. If you're naive to it, you're an idiot and you cannot be in charge of the country.
And there have been political commentators who have talked along those lines and saying that he runs a fine line between arrogance and humility. Not humility, but arrogance and pride, or arrogance and ego, where he almost seems too eager. And that eagerness, you've lived long enough. When you see a young blood who's overly eager, it's like you're overly eager because you're ignorant. Like you actually shouldn't be excited to do that because you're about to go through a lot of suffering.
Correct.
Right? You know what I mean? So I almost feel like he's in that position where she's almost too eager, and that reveals to me some naivete and some ignorance. And clearly, as the other politicians have called out, his youthfulness is one of the things running against him.
Because when I put up the post and I put it on Twitter, and on Twitter, I don't know, 1 million, 2 million, I don't know what's doing. The Babylon Bee put it on their page, which is crazy. I was on the Bee. Stu Peters retweeted, which is crazy because he's like the top conspiracy theorist of all.
Yeah.
And
he's like a mini Alex Jones.
I agree with like a good portion of what he says.
He says
Not
some
all.
he says some wacky shit.
He's out there, but he's a lot of fun to follow.
Well, he's the guy who
He don't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck, but and I appreciate Stu Peters. So Stu, if you're watching this, if you have people who love Stu and you're listening to the podcast, clip this and let Stu know that we respect him. And the reason why I respect Stu is he will literally pull on any string that's possible.
Yeah.
If there's a one thing event that happens and it's got like 19 random ass strings, he'll pull all 19 of them. He'll be like, hey, what about the blue roofs? What about these school buses? What about this happened? It's just like, bro, like I was with you. Now I'm lost.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong, because that is an interesting thing that you've pointed out. So he's great entertainment value.
I think he's interesting because, again, he pulls on every single string. And if he was selective in his strings, then you'd be like, oh, maybe this guy's agenda driven.
Yeah.
The fact that he pulls everything is he's just a guy that questions literally everything.
I love my favorite. I'm giving you props, Stu. My favorite is his Big Mike.
He just can't let that go.
He can't let that shit go, bro. And I love it. Keep doing it, Stu, because every time it comes up on my feed when you're talking about Big Mike, I get a good chuckle. So it's worth
almost
it.
every single day.
It's worth it. Keep doing you, bro. Keep doing you.
So I think that's what's going on with him. And I think we should be concerned. I don't think he goes very far. And I don't know.
So let me ask you this: are you interested in digging even deeper on Vivek? Because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about what you brought up. I mean, you brought up a lot of connections, dug through his history, not super deep, but just enough to find some of the patterns and let's just say some of the interesting relationships he has.
Coincidences.
I think that's fair. He has some interesting relationships that are, to the average normie and regular person, a little like, whoa, how did you get connected with that? Which you like to say, moments, right? I'm wondering if you're willing to keep doing it. Because what if what you say does come true? What if you say it doesn't come true and it's not a rug pull? Could you be a participant in being the Vivek truther? Is that interesting or intriguing to you?
No interest whatsoever.
Okay.
I think I've said my piece. I've given my ideas. I've raised my question and alarm. We're talking about this now in the long form. I got to move on.
Fair enough.
We have a million other things. We have a million other coincidences in the world that we need to address, that we need to look into, that we need to go about. This is just one of them. I think in the greater scheme of things, this just be a blip on the radar, and a lot of people are just going to be really embarrassed for it.
I'm curious for everyone out there listening. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Smash the like button. Obviously, subscribe. But I'm curious because Matt and I are on different. We think differently here. Matt thinks it's going to potentially be a big rug pull. I feel like they're trying to prep him for VP status. How does that work? I have no idea. Maybe we could talk about what your thoughts are. And we've talked a little bit about the Republican debate, which was, I thought, in a lot of ways was useless because everyone says that Trump won the debate and he wasn't even there. But what are your thoughts? Who do you think, if we can nail you to a wall right now, Matt Kim, who do you think is going to end up being the VP of Trump if Trump becomes the nomination?
I don't think anyone on that stage.
Really?
There's no one there that'd be interesting. I don't think.
We got a bunch of rhinos up there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone helps him. He has an election to win, and I don't think anyone there gets him the votes to do it. So he would need RFK. I think that's an interesting ticket. What if RFK were to join Trump as his VP?
Oh man,
a Trump RFK ticket would, number one, break the internet.
That would break the. I was about
break
to say that.
Society, break the establishment,
break the internet.
And I think a lot of people would be like, two guys that inherently don't agree, but kind of agree, that have a similar vibe, but very different vibe, watching them come together, it's almost a moment that could heal the country. Because you have the right that obviously love Trump. And his following is growing exponentially every single day. You have RFK who are saying things in just a way that people are like, damn it, I can get behind that. So he's building up the social movement behind him. And RFK, I believe him. He seems genuine. He seems more mature. He seems like he has his own original ideas, not just talking points. And if you were to put those two together against the whatever establishment, we've already said, most likely going to be Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom. That's what I think will be the other ticket.
Oh, jeez. That's just depressing to hear. That was my immediate reaction to what you said.
If Trump is running and you got to beat Trump, and he is trending in the direction he is, and he is picking up in just scoops the African American vote.
Yeah, let's talk about that actually.
How that mugshot was the biggest backfire. And I'm just going to say, if you're Donald Trump and you have to see that mugshot, even though you're owning it, even though you are doing the best you can, deep down at home, he's pretty pissed.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
He's annoyed about that.
Let's pivot to this new thing that has been unlocked, this achievement that has been so tightly held on to is the black vote. And you don't need to go far back in history to clearly see that the black vote generally is in the Democratic side. There's a lot of historicity. There's a lot of reasons for this. We could go on and about it, but here's what we're seeing now is we are seeing the black vote, the African-American vote, shift to Trump. And it is, can I say, it is glorious. It is glorious to see the shift. And people out there might be saying, Peter, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? I'm seeing TikTok, which is being flooded by African American and the black community and the black market. They're not going to Facebook. Black people are leaving Facebook. They're leaving Instagram. It's all moving to TikTok. That is their primary social media platform. And brother, it is glorious to see all these people that on the surface and the legacy media would have you think that just because they have this skin color, they're automatically going to vote for Hillary, they're automatically going to vote for Biden and Big Mike, etc. But man, the videos I'm seeing, they're all telling everybody that they fuck with Trump. The hood fucks with Trump is what they're saying. Are you seeing this too?
I mean, if anything, this gave him street cred.
Oh, bro, he's a brother now. That's the thing.
And again, I think at home personally, he's like, damn it. Like, no one wants to see that. He didn't want to see that. He's a proud guy.
Oh, he's got ego like all the rest of us.
However, the amount of support he's getting for that, because there's this idea that, oh, Trump doesn't understand. He just says all these things, but he don't get me because he's just a rich billionaire. Rich, white billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them go after him. And then you see the mugshot. You're like, bro, they locked him up for nothing.
Yep.
I understand that. I can relate to that.
Bro, that is and I'm going to create a generalization here, but a lot of the videos I'm seeing is exactly that theme. Is he was untouchable to me as a regular citizen. There was nothing that I could really compare myself to or connect with. But now that he's been locked up unfairly, like, that seems to be a cultural. He's crossed the cultural divide. He's crossed the chasm. Trump is now a dreadlock, hoodie wearing, badass motherfucker. Like, I'm guys, excuse my language here, but I'm just using the language that I'm hearing from all these people on all these videos. They're like, dude, I fuck with Trump now.
Yeah,
like the hood fucks with Trump, and it's. If we look at the social commentary, it's like, well, it's kind of sad that it requires a brother to get locked up for you to like connect with them. But if that is what is happening and that's what we're seeing, then that was one of the biggest backfires and biggest political snafus that I think the Democratic Party has ever made.
And I think people are starting to use their own world around them to make their decisions. Mm-hmm. Meaning, before you used to listen to the policy, and you listen to them debate, and you listen to the talking heads tell you how you should feel. And that's what people used to believe. That's what they based their opinion on, other people's ideas. We're at a place where there is so little trust for the media, so much distrust for the media, that they don't give a fuck what the media says anymore. They're done.
I think
with the
both
talking
sides.
heads. Both sides.
I think the media is done with it trying to even be somewhat truthful. They're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to make it up.
They're just trying to retain the little bit of cred they have left.
Yeah.
But people in general, the people in the streets, people at home are done with the media. So they're doing it very simple. They're looking around their lives and go, is it better now or before? And everyone's going, I liked it better when Trump was in charge.
Can you steel man a case that it was better? Now it's better now than under Trump. I think it'd be really hard to steel man a case for that.
If you were to use policy and numbers and manipulation of numbers and various talking points to shadow over the real problems, anyone can steel man the case, right? Which is what they do.
Yeah. But ain't nobody give a fuck about the numbers at the end of the day.
But if you were to say, is your life better now or before? In the most general of term, most people will say, I liked it better when Trump was in charge.
It certainly was cheaper under Trump. Let's be intellectually
For some reason,
honest.
that's all that matters.
I mean, I don't like going. I mean, this might be a little bit revealing about me and my family, but we keep track of food intake. And my wife is all about the organic, all about natural, all about, like, I leave her to simmer on that and focus on that and ensure that our food is completely been desanitized from any type of negativity or any type of pesticides or anything. But we track food intake. We track cost. And I'll tell you, just from my perspective, my one piece of anecdotal data, I will tell you our food bill has doubled in the last couple of years. And we haven't increased organic foods. we're still eating the same amount, but just gas, food prices, eggs for a little bit, like bacon, like meat. I wanted a steak the other day, bro. It was like $40 for a like, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, there's a place down Buford here that's all you can eat steak for $19. I'd rather go there than buy a steak from Whole Foods. Shit, it's just too expensive.
I feel like when Trump was in charge, people said it's going to divide the country and everyone can hate each other. And every day they told us we hate each other.
Mm.
But people looked around and were like, I actually got along with people pretty good.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much crime.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't being overrun by homelessness, by drugs, none of this.
Mm-mm.
It was there, but it wasn't a huge part of our lives.
Mm.
Now people are looking around going, They say that this is better, that we've built back better.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere I look, it's shit.
It's gotten worse.
And they're like, this doesn't make any sense. And people are just using, there's so much distrust for the media and the talking heads that people are just using their own experience to live, which is amazing. I think that's how it should be anyway.
Yeah. Well, when it finally comes to your doorstep, let's be honest, when issues and problems finally come to your doorstep, that's when you actually finally respond, right? I mean, that's the typical guy thing, is that we won't go to doctors until it, like, oh shit, my bone's out of my skin now. I should probably go to the doctor now, right? That's a guy thing. A guy thing is like, it'll hurt, it'll fix itself. I think we're in a society in a world now where it's clear that it has gotten worse.
Okay. Then one final question for you. You are historically a pretty apolitical person.
Yeah.
You care about politics, you care about the world, you care about society, not as much as being in politics. Probably got more political because of me right now.
Oh, I'm certainly more aware of it. I focus more on the economics of what's going on in the world than politics. Policy affects economics, but economics is priority.
We've had this discussion before that you typically don't vote.
I haven't voted for I don't do it.
Knowing what you know now, do you think you'll vote?
Probably not.
Oh,
Probably not.
Emotional.
But actually, let me qualify. I have said multiple times, and you guys can look up the episodes of me talking about it, but I have said multiple times that I respect Trump as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I saw Trump run America for those 4 years, which, by the way, if memory serves, basically being cock-blocked every time he wanted to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like he was constrained on all sides to do anything positive for the nation. So the fact that he actually got some stuff done is mad props to him. I looked at Trump's policies, and I looked at it from an economic standpoint. Are his policies going to affect the economics of my investments, my business endeavors, the projects that I'm involved in, and some trickle down into the school system and familial considerations as well? And I think he did a stellar job. So all that to be said, I've said that before, that I respect him for his business.
Yep.
If Trump is truly the ticket for the Republican Party, and it truly seems like he's going to be able to overcome the machine that's holding him down. Like, I mean, if he's in jail and he's being truly in jail, orange jumpsuit, he's in jail, he's constrained, he can only talk, hang out with his lawyers once every other week. They've made it so deeply impossible for him. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm not going to vote. But if it looks like, seriously, if it looks like, I mean, if it's Big Mike and Trump, that might be the ticket that'll be like, you know what? I have to zero out my neighbor's vote. Like, I just have to do it. So, like, that's essentially what I'm doing. Is I'm surrounded by my neighbors who all vote liberal. So I would just be like, you know what? At least I can zero out Karen's vote. As long as I can zero out Karen's vote, then I'll feel good about it. How's that?
I feel like if Trump is in jail with all these extraneous circumstances, it would motivate me even more to vote. Because what bigger FU to the entire system than to elect Trump while he's in jail?
You know what?
It's like the ultimate FU to everyone that's been trying to bear everyone down. Biggest FU to everyone that's trying to control and manipulate our lives. They put the guy in jail to stop him from winning. And if he won in that situation, I would campaign from the street. I would campaign every day to make sure that guy gets elected from jail. Because that would be the most amazing story ever, and I want to be a part of that.
Bro, someone's going to clip this shit and be like, see, Matt Kim is not politically neutral. He's not objective. He just told us he's going to campaign for MAGA. Like, someone's going to clip that shit, bro. Better believe it. In 6 years, when you're blowing up and we got billions of subscribers,
Clip it.
He was a liar. Look back and
Clip it. If that guy is in jail, I will campaign because that will be a part of history.
You know what? Not to be a fair weather fan, I kind of want to be part of that.
It's just
call me shallow, man, but like if Trump, like he crushes it, wins the Hispanic vote, wins the African American vote, you know, MAGA, all the things, right? And if he truly becomes top eagle again, like I'll be honest, my ego would want to be part of that.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Right?
Just want to be a part of the drive.
Like it is a massive middle finger to the establishment.
And that's, I think, what excites me the most is that if he has to campaign from jail, obviously, they do not want him to run or win. And to be able to win and be a part of that history would be like the most epic thing ever. I may even start Asians for Trump. I don't know.
Bro,
you know, I was like, if that situation were to happen.
Dude, we were talking earlier, guys, about Matt being like, I'm walking in the dark. I don't really know what to do. Well, a lot of our decision making is going to be based on whether Trump gets the nomination. And then we're going to start singing a different tune because you're going to see Matt out with posters and shit on Buford Highway.
If he gets the nomination, we will continue to do what we do. If he gets a nomination and he's trying to win and campaign from prison, I need to go support Top Eagle. I gotta go.
Would you be the guy holding the live stream, watching C-SPAN back here, being like, guys, they're about to bring him in, right? What is he gonna say? What's his defense gonna say?
I mean, we've said it a couple episodes ago that me and my friend Donnie, you need to be there for your friends.
Bro.
And since we are now friends,
Yes, that's true.
officially friends,
He knows your name.
we know each other's name. We've been on each other's social media. We're friends.
Yeah.
I would feel responsible to help him out if he ends up in the darkest of situations.
Well, you heard it here first, guys, on the Matt Kim podcast. And frankly, based on what I've seen from Donald Trump hanging out with Asian Americans, I have to believe that Donald Trump remembers you because you don't look like any of the other Asian Americans that he's met, if you know what I mean. Usually they're a little bit older and a little bit more nerdy.
You
know?
I like nerds.
So he
That's why
has
I like
to.
you.
I'm sure he remembers you because you're a young blood in his eyes. I bet he thinks you're a whippersnapper.
All y'all whippersnappers, hope you have a good day. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you, everybody. I think that'd be funny. That was good. I like that.
Oh, well, we didn't even bring up the fact that I bought that Trump shirt.
Oh.
I'll wait. I'm gonna.